Hello everyone. Today we are taking a deep dive into this Forbes story, student loan forgiveness approved for another 11,500 borrowers, but new rules could block future relief. We are going to break down exactly what happened here and what the real risks are that every borrower and finance watcher should know about. But before that, you are watching Decode Daily News, where we take the biggest business and finance stories and decode them so anyone can understand. If you are not subscribed yet, hit that button right now. So let us get into it. The Education Department's latest status update indicates that approximately 11,500 borrowers. So that line really caught my attention, and here is why. This is not a random spike. 10,000 in March, 12,000 in February. This program has been approving discharges consistently every single month. And behind every one of those numbers is a real person, a teacher, a nurse, a government worker who just had tens of thousands of dollars wiped from their life. Let's see what is written ahead in this same news paragraph. Received student loan forgiveness under PSLF during the month of April. Now let that sink in. 1 month, one program, 11,500 people with their federal student loan balance at zero. That scale matters. And it matters even more when you understand what is coming for this program in just a few weeks. And this is where the real story is. The department has been contending with significant backlogs and delays associated with the PSLF Buyback program, and that is not a small thing. PSLF Buyback is a second chance program. It lets borrowers make a lump sum payment to retroactively count periods that did not previously qualify. For someone who thought they had lost years of progress, that is a lifeline, and the department has been sitting on those applications for far too long. And then came the number that changed everything, with some borrowers waiting 2 years or more for a decision. Pause right there. 2 years waiting to find out if your debt gets erased. 2 years of financial planning built on pure uncertainty. But this month, the department hit a processing record. Approximately 6,600 buyback approvals, and for the first time ever, the backlog actually shrank. Progress is real. But what is coming next puts all of it under a very serious cloud. Now this is the part I could not move past. The Education Department is moving forward with finalized regulations that, if enacted, would give Education Secretary Linda McMahon the power. And here is what that really tells you. These are not proposed rules anymore. They are finalized. The department has already done the work to make this official, and the authority being concentrated in one person here is significant, the kind of authority that can reshape who benefits from this program entirely. And that brings us to the part at the center of this whole story, to disqualify employers from continuing to participate in PSLF if they engage in activities that the department determines has a substantial illegal purpose. And think about what that actually means. If your employer gets flagged, a nonprofit, a city government, a public hospital, you do not lose credit already earned, but your clock stops completely. If you are 7 years into a 10-year program, you are stuck. Stay and lose your path to forgiveness. Leave and start over somewhere else. That is not a small decision. Here is the piece that reframes everything. The new rules, which are set to be implemented on July 1, are the culmination of efforts to codify President Donald Trump's executive order, and here is the part that hits different. July 1st is weeks away, and this did not happen overnight. The groundwork was laid over a year ago. This has been a deliberate and methodical process from the very beginning, which is exactly why 3 separate legal challenges are now racing against that deadline. And he did not stop there. Issued more than a year ago that directed the department to bar certain organizations and their employees from the program, and that part is worth sitting with. Bar certain organizations, not certain individuals, entire organizations, which means every single employee working toward forgiveness under that employer could lose their path forward, not because of anything they did, but because of where they work. But that was just the beginning. Since the PSLF statute was enacted, the PSLF regulation has rightfully adhered to the mandate set out by Congress, and here is what that really tells you. The challengers are not just making a political argument, they are making a statutory one. Congress created this program in 2007 with a clear mandate. The challengers say the department is now trying to rewrite that mandate through regulation, something they argue Congress never authorized. And then came the response that says it all, which provides that all government jobs are PSLF eligible, with the sole exception of members of Congress themselves. And that is not a small thing. Look at how narrow that original exception was. Just members of Congress. That is it. If Congress had wanted the department to have broad authority to disqualify employers, it would have written that into the law. It did not. And that silence is at the heart of every lawsuit currently in front of the courts. So, that is exactly where my take comes in. But real quick, before I give you my take, this video is for educational purposes only, not legal or financial advice. Student loan rules are complex and change fast. Always check with a qualified advisor or visit the official federal student aid website before making any decisions about your loans. So, here is what I keep coming back to. This is not really a story about student loans. It is a story about policy risk, the kind that hits people who built 10-year financial plans around rules that are now shifting beneath them. If you are a borrower in this program right now, document everything, every payment, every employer certification, every approval letter. If the rules change, your paper trail is your only protection. And if you are watching this as someone thinking about long-term financial planning, this is a reminder that government programs can be real and meaningful and still fragile at the same time. Counting on a benefit that depends on political stability is a risk most people never put on their spreadsheet. The courts may step in before July 1st. They may not. Either way, borrowers who assumed the rules were settled just learned how fast the ground can shift. If this breakdown helped you see the story differently, hit like and subscribe. We decode these stories every day so you never have to read between the lines alone. And tell me in the comments, do you think the courts will block these new PSLF rules before July 1st? Drop your take below.